Hello Orchid friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching my video, my channel is all about orchids. From what orchids I have, how I grow them, my thoughts on certain orchid topics, to what orchids in my collection are blooming, etc. So if you want to follow along my orchid hobby adventure, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification. Today we have an orchid classic. So this one is Phalaenopsis Mini Mark. Many people know about this orchid for its cute, charming characteristics. I also love it because of its dots as well as its orange lip. In my collection, I have a total of 5, and this is the first one that finished all its buds. It started blooming the earliest, so I thought I would start with this one. But if we go back in time, end of December 2019 was when I started to realize that this orchid was putting out a spike. So I was really happy that it rebloomed. And this is just to give you a sense of what the root system looked like at the time. This is one of the bigger mini marks in my collection. So I put this one in a 16-ounce plastic cup, and it's in semi-hydro setup, and that's why you're gonna see that there are 2 drainage holes on the side, and this is the best case scenario where some of the roots are already below that 2 drainage hole into the reservoir area, because that is the place where water would accumulate, hence the semi-hydro growing method. So for this orchid, I typically only give it about 1/4 cup of water, and that's more than enough, usually just enough to finish the wet dry cycle within a week, because I water my orchids on a weekly basis. And I kept it took a bit of trial and error to kind of land on, okay, 1/4 cup for most of my orchid allows a wet dry cycle to finish in a week. And for this one, as you can see, I use a twist tie to prop up the flower spike. I didn't used to do this for this orchid, because in fact for most of my orchids, I enjoy watching flower spike develop in their own way, and have that pendant look. But this time, I just kind of want to save a little bit of horizontal space, and also just to do something a little bit different. So I decided to prop it up a little bit, but I didn't use a stick or anything to make it completely straight. I kind of got lazy, and I just want something that would elevate it enough so that it's not just shooting out straight horizontally, because that's what it did for the most part last year. All 5 of them were in bloom, but then their flower spikes were all pretty pointy, like pretty horizontally aligned with one another. But anyway, so this orchid has a little bit of fragrance, and it's citrusy and with a bit of like plum juice, plum wine smell. So it's quite interesting. But what I love most about this orchid is the dots on the flower. When I first learned about Mini Mark, this is years ago when I first got into the orchid hobby, and I saw a picture of Mini Mark online, and I said to myself, gosh, I really want to have an orchid like that. It looks so cute, and with all these freckles, that's what I called it at the time, with all these freckles on the petals. It's so cute. Anyway, so this orchid did pretty well this year again. Last year it also had 4 blooms, and this year the same bloom count. I think it will improve as it ages. More typically, orchid do better with age. So I have high hopes for this one. I bought, when I first got this orchid, it was just a like first blooming size orchid, so it was still quite small. And Mini Mark has always been a rather compact orchid anyway, so leaves are smaller, the buds are smaller. In fact, the buds were looking so small that I forgot that it was a compact orchid, that I just kept thinking, oh gosh, it would take forever for the buds to plump up and open. But it opened, in no time for me. This orchid also has quite a bit of aerial roots. And I sometimes get questions from my subscribers asking what to do with aerial roots. And with this one, for example, I don't think I would do anything to it, because if you look at the roots in the cup, in the container, the root system is doing really well. So I don't really need to do anything to risk potentially disturbing the orchid, just so that I can have aerial roots repotted back into the media. These aerial roots are kind of the roots reserve, if you will, because if the roots in the container are rotted, you will at least have aerial roots to be able to plant back into the media to help this orchid stay hydrated. So in a way, it's kind of a roots reserve type of situation, right? That's kind of your savings account, and your currency is root. So I don't intend to do anything, but I do have to say, your humidity in the environment should be at least 50%, because when you have that many aerial roots, and if you don't spray them down from time to time, you really have to ensure that the humidity is at least 50%. Otherwise, they may start to shrivel and get drier and drier. And that's what I have noticed. But if I don't use the humidifier, right now in my new environment, my humidity level is around 50, sometimes 60. And some aerial roots are looking slightly on the drier side. But when I was living in an apartment on the top floor, I would have my humidifier on pretty much all the time. And, I noticed that orchids around the humidifier really was growing aerial roots much better. So I think humidifier has something to do with it, but it's not the humidifier, it's really the environmental humidity. So for this one, I just kind of let it be, because for my environment, 50-60%, I think that's pretty good already. So I don't always have my humidifier on, but for summertime I will, because the central air, the air conditioning is running, so it tends to dry things out more quickly than usual. So I will supplement with humidifier to keep up with the humidity. Another thing that I think I could do differently with this orchid, and I think I said that last year too, is to increase the dosage of the fertilizer, maybe to 50%, just to see how it does. And this year, this blooming cycle, I did not do that because I got lazy. I still really wanted to make my life easier. Essentially, if I, use quarter strength fertilizer on all my other orchids, I kind of prefer that, I just don't have that many kind of orchids that would have different needs in fertilizer. So in a way, I kind of made it easy for myself, but then I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that this orchid is still just blooming with 4 flowers. We'll see. I may increase the dosage, but I may not. Here is just a side-by-side comparison. I have 5 mini marks and 2 are bigger size, so they are the ones that you see right now in 16-ounce cup. The other one also bloomed out with 4 flowers, and this is just a preview of the other orchid, mini mark orchid, and I think I'll try to find more time in the next week or so to make that video and share the updates of that particular mini mark with you. But overall, I think mini mark is a really cute orchid to have in any collection. So if you're interested, do some online research. Search on eBay, maybe you'll get lucky and find one, because this is not a commonly found orchid if you just go to a regular grocery store. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!